Energy, energy. We're back. I'm back. I took a week off. For those of you who don't know, I am having a child, so things pop up every once in a while, and I decided that I just needed some me time. So I watched the last race by myself, but welcome back to the pit lane. Thanks for checking us out. Hit the subscribe button, notification bell, drop a comment, hit the like button, all the same shit. But anyway, welcome back. Turkish Grand Prix 2021 qualifying there in Istanbul. Looked like it was going to be a rainy day. Turned out that everything just dried out, and Lewis is still incredibly fast for no apparent fucking reason, other than he drives a Mercedes and he's Lewis Hamilton. So there's all the reasons that you need. But let's just get into the qualifying. I know I just said let's get into the qualifying, but before we get into the qualifying, two big things going into tomorrow's race. I have something in my eye. Bear with me just for 1 second. Lewis Hamilton and Carlos Sainz. So Carlos had to replace his entire power unit, meaning that he has to start at the back of the grid. Lewis Hamilton had a new combustion engine switch out, which I'm assuming since they didn't have to change out the electrical parts, he only has to have a 10-place grid penalty. I'm not really sure how that works. I'm but pleb and have not researched this enough. But I mean, Carlos looked okay out there. Lewis still driving a rocket ship. Valtteri also driving the same type of rocket ship, starting pole tomorrow, max P2. So I mean, I think it's going to be an interesting start to the race tomorrow. Solid qualifying, a couple moments there. Mick Schumacher made it into Q2. Congratulations, Haas and Mick. We look forward to seeing you in Ferrari here in the next 3 years. And inevitably, they have too many drivers and get rid of everybody, but that's another video coming up. That's going to be controversial. That'll be fun. All right, let's talk about the big elephant in the room, and that is RedBull looking absolutely incredible in that livery. Throwback to the Honda livery, I think, from a bunch of years ago, from when Honda's anniversary or something like that, F1 wins. But it looks incredible. Homage to Honda. Another thing that I heard the other day is that a lot of Honda's engine engineers, they will actually be staying with RedBull. So even though Honda is pulling out of Formula One, basically all of Honda's Formula One engine staff is still staying. So I don't think we're going to have any concerns with Red Bull moving forward in their power units. It's just going to be a Red Bull power unit instead of Honda. Like, they just get to rebrand it. They get to keep all the intellectual property. So I think Red Bull from here on out are just going to be a dominant force. They don't have to deal with the Renault or Alpine garbage anymore. And I mean, then again, Alpine looked pretty good today. But now, no further ado, let's get into the qualifying session. So as soon as the session started, you could see the damp spots in the track. People were just getting oversteer going into turn one. Also, turn one. Talk about a pain in the ass turn. You have an apex you can't even see. You come into turn one and then you just downhill real quick and then up into the next corner. That is going to be incredibly hairy coming into this race. I mean, last year, obviously it was rainy, so everybody's more cautious coming into it. But if it's going to be dry, like I have some concerns that we're going to have a first lap crash. And I'll get into that at the end of the video, my predictions and everything. But I think there's going to be some big issues on the very first turn of the very first lap when lights go out. We were getting calls for the rain conditions, but in the very end, nothing came. It stayed damp. The track started to rubber end finally. It rained all weekend, so everything they'd put down in FP1, 2, and 3, like, it just did not hold any of the traction on the track. So it was just an ice skating rink out there to begin with. Mazepin going out. You had Perez going out. You had Lewis losing it. You had Leclerc losing it going into the last corner. You had George losing it in Q3 getting knocked out. No, Q2 getting knocked out. Gutted for him. I thought that he was going to be able to make it in the Q3 again. But ultimately, I think it's going to be a battle between Lewis and Valtteri tomorrow. I take that back. I completely take that back. I changed my mind. I'm going to add this to the end. I had another thought. We got a cool new camera view with the front wing, so like super low to the ground. You can really see how quickly the cars get in and out of the corners. They showed like what turn they're in. I think it was Istanbul. I think it's turn 11, 12, 13, and 14. It's basically, it might as well just be an oval. Like it's they take it flat out. It's a left-hander, and they just gun it around this corner. I don't think there's going to be any overtaking there, just because it is a fast corner, but they hit the apex coming out of the corner, and they just keep on doing that all the way around. So there really isn't anything. If you try to go side by side in there, you're going to lose a lot of time. But it looked incredibly cool in the front wing camera, getting back to my original point instead of getting off track again, that they just able to plow through everything. Like, the track was built for the older cars. The cars here, like, they were just destroying. We had Danny Rick going out in Q1. So this is one thing I do want to talk about. I think that McLaren is right there. I think the thing that they have the biggest issue with is their strategy. They have two of the most competitive drivers in the field. The thing that has just screwed them time and time again, I mean, you saw it last week, I think it's strategy. And I think it comes down to the race engineers. McLaren has done very well giving the drivers the tools to succeed. Just like its stepbrothers, they have the tools to be their own boss. Work at an enterprise. Anyway, the drivers have very much been in control. And I think that there might be, and that's okay. But you get situations like last week where Lando has a clear opportunity to win the race. They don't give the orders at the right time to come in. In this situation, Danny did not have his battery charged, so he could not go back out and do another hot lap, at least a full hot lap. And because of that, he got knocked out in Q1. I fully believe he would have been in Q3 if he had gotten that final hot lap done. But it's strategy stuff that is shooting them in the foot. And they just keep doing it. They've done it the last few times. But I think if they get that down going into next season, I think they're going to be a title contender. Don't shoot me now. Wait and see. New cars. Mick Schumacher getting into Q2. Incredible job. Super happy for Haas, like I said again. He sounded super excited on the radio. And that wraps up Q1. Going into Q2, and there, everybody going out on mediums besides Yuki. AlphaTauri, they just trying a different strategy, just see what happens. I mean, everybody seems like they're doing all right. Obviously, what you finish Q2 with is what you start the race with. So they'll have two different tires, a medium and a soft. So we will see how it plays out. Yuki looked pretty good. Gasly crushing it. As always, Perez spinning it. I mean, coming down into the turn one blind corner, hit a damp patch, the back end just went out from underneath him. And that was pretty much the story of the first two qualifying sessions, is who can hold it together going into turn one. Towards the end of Q2, I really thought Russell was going to make it into Q3. He came around the last corner and just biffed it. Like, he just, the line just went off the line, went off the track, and he completely lost any chance he had to go into Q3. Sucks. He'll be their next race. I mean, he might be able to get points. Latifi looked strong there for a second too, so hopefully more points for Williams. It didn't look like Leclerc was going to be able to get out of Q2 until until he and Sainz did their best Ricky Bobby and Callum Jr. impersonation. So Sainz obviously starting in the back. Didn't even need to do anything in Q2. He is just randomly out on the track, never put in a time, and then all of a sudden Leclerc's coming up and slingshot, engage, and he just guns it out of nowhere, just takes off, and all of a sudden you see around the corner, Leclerc just DRS open, just getting a little DRS train, getting slingshot around that corner. He's able to get into Q3. I don't know if they had any concerns, so congratulations, Ferrari. That was sneaky. I think it was smart. You guys did an incredible job there. At this point, whatever the race engineers say in regards to weather, I just expect the exact opposite. So they said that it was going to be really sunny, so I was expecting a complete downpour, but it never came. The track started to dry out. Lewis just absolutely ran away with the entire thing. He's getting a 10-place grid penalty, which is fine. I don't think he's really going to have any issues unless, we'll talk about this in a second, something happens in that turn one right there. It depends on the weather conditions, but I do have concerns into that. We have Valtteri starting on pole, Max in second, Leclerc in third. Yeah, Leclerc's in third. Yeah, see, that really worked out for him. Gasly in fourth and Alonso in fifth. Alonso looked really solid out there. He was able to get temperature in those tires, but what would you expect from a world champion? I mean, he was able to just get everything moving in the Alpine, which has steadily shown improvement. So happy for him. So my race predictions. I think that this will be a race between Valtteri and Max. I'm already changing what I said in the middle of this video. I think there could be a McLaren up there. I don't think that Leclerc is going to be able to have the pace to keep up with them in the corners. I think the power unit of the McLaren is going to be able to push them up there. My concern and what I'm assuming is going to happen is they're going to go in turn one. First five is going to get away clean, and then Lewis, you're just an aggressive boy. I feel like he's going to lunge it somewhere, and that turn one has caused so many problems. I think somebody's going to get scared. Somebody's going to lose it. There's going to be an accident. Turn one, and with Lewis being in the middle of the pack, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm not saying he's going to cause the accident, but I'm saying a move that he does might cause somebody to cause the accident. I don't know if Lewis is going to make it out of this first lap. But if he does, I think Lewis will charge through the field eventually, and Max is just going to have to hold him off. Valtteri does not do well in wet conditions, so if it rains, I think Valtteri's going to fall back pretty quickly. Max is going to be able to pull away, and at that point, it's just going to be a race to see if Lewis is going to be able to catch Max. The Honda power units and the Red Bulls seem to be catching up to Mercedes this weekend. They were really, really down in FP1, 2, and 3. Perez, I don't even know where the hell he's at. But I think that it's going to be between Max and Lewis, given that Lewis gets through the field. Now, if it's a dry race and everybody gets to the first turn clean, I think it's going to be Valtteri and Max the entire time. Valtteri's going to push it as hard as he can. And then it's going to be a battle for second between those three. Whoever is able to pull away, I think it's just going to be a battle for second. I think Lewis will be able to charge through, but we'll see what happens. I will see you guys tomorrow. Again, thank you for checking out the pit lane. Drop a comment, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the race recap. Take care, guys. Bye. Audio visual check. Starting to do this again. I have not had any coffee. My plant over there is dying. And this is also going at the end of the video.